Hi. So there are days when I feel like, hey, I've learned something new and I want to share it with you. There are days when, I'm just sort of thinking like, yeah, this is what people need to hear at this moment or maybe today. And I just try to like talk about things that might be helpful. But today or some days, I just document my journey. It's like a journal in a video style for myself, for others, everything I've been through and have been talking about since I created the YouTube channel. Like I'm growing a lot. And not too much. It's not like I know everything. It's quite the opposite. I know that I don't know a whole lot, but I'm always trying to learn. And recently, what I've been focusing on is getting out of my comfort zone. Like doing things I'm not used to that I don't really like or want to do, but just pushing myself. And, it can happen in a lot of ways. And, if you're doing that, if you're trying to get out of the comfort zone, what are some of the things you're doing in your life? For me, well, I've been trying to work out. Like, I don't feel like it. I don't really want to, but I'm just going to push it. I just like want to or not. I don't give a damn. I'm just going to start. And I've been working at it and seeing great results. Like I'm losing weight. I'm getting back into the body shape I used to have, getting more lean. And I like that. It's like, I like seeing the differences. I just don't like working out. But, like once you get into it, it's not so bad. And recently, like, when I work out, I listen to some, music for like, yeah, it's mood, whatever. And today, like, hey, I had some anime soundtracks playing in the background randomly on my huge playlist. And I was like, damn, like it reminds me of some of the great moments in anime, and I get all hyped up and I do more exercises or more reps than I wanted to and end up doing like a whole lot more than I thought I would. And it's just great. It's great. Like I've been pretty much like onto it for a few weeks now where I just like push myself into eating once a day, working out and all the stuff. And there are times where like, I really want to eat. I really want my chocolate. I want the other stuff. And I'm not gonna do it. The kind of like pushing myself into certain things that would help me out eventually. Um, Going out for a walk with the dog. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like, oh God, it's raining again. Oh no, it's windy and I don't like it and da da da. And I just get out and then it's not so bad. And I go for a walk and I enjoy myself in the company of my cute little puppy. He's just down there looking at me. And I don't know, like biggest things is just like trying to do whatever would be uncomfortable. Like I just decided, hey, I need to learn a whole lot more. And, trying to sign up into something that might take a few years, but with thousands of hours of work and practical stuff, I might get better results and might share of that and the journey and everything else later. But with that, I'm just talking about it because, like, who gives a damn about my journey except me, right? But with all that, getting out of the comfort zone is big because we have our standards of how our life is. We have a story that we have experienced and repeated and told ourselves that this is our life. So when good things start to happen for a longer period of time, we start thinking it is too good to be true. And soon it's the quiet or that silence before the storm. So we expect to get that emotional roller coaster again and the shit hit the fan and all this crash and burn. So with that, like we're just gonna track tons of things in our lives because we can only handle that much. This is our standard. Life gets only that good, and then shit hits the fan. We know it. It's a story. We've experienced it for years, and this is how it is. But it's our standard. This is how we're used to live life, and this is how happy and good and comfortable we can get. The moment you start pushing out and doing more in life, you start getting more. But at the same time, there's a huge pushback from other groups, of course, but also from you because you can't handle it. It's just too much. You don't believe you can be way that good. Like you want that girl or the guy in your life, and you will work for a long time to get that person. And the moment you can get close, well, you kind of never believed you could have them. You wanted to, you hoped, but it was never really your reality. So the moment you get together, you kind of fuck it up. You act like a clown and you start stuttering and talking nonsense or not being able to talk at all, and boom, the whole date or whatever goes wrong. Or trying to land a job, and like tons of cases and scenarios of how life can go. For me, like I usually notice, like, hey, spiritually, I'm doing something that is really helping me. Like I'm learning something profound for myself. It's all subjective, but at the same time, I feel like I can share things with others. And then some weird stuff happens in life, and it just like really knocks me off. And it takes a while to get back on my feet and like restart and like just keep on pushing. And like I've been trying to get out of the comfort zone, like just do things I wouldn't normally do, or I would not like to do, or that's not in my schedule, or like weekly stuff. I'm just trying to do as much as possible. Well, it's not like I'm pro and I'm pushing it. I'm not telling you have to do it, go hustle and work your ass off. No, but just few little things maybe once in a while. I'm noticing for myself, and I'm trying to push my standards of what my life is higher and higher. And I'm working slowly. It's not like, yeah, look at me, I'm a champ, I'm a pro, my life is perfect. Like far from that. But I'm just trying. And I'm seeing where the things, if my standards used to be right here of how good life can be before shit happens, and if it gets just a little bit better, I can hang in there for weeks, and then boom, gonna crash and burn eventually. So now I hang in there much longer, and scenarios happen again and again that used to trigger the hell out of me. Like certain words, certain phrases people say, things they do or not do, meeting NPCs, and they're just standing there supposed to trigger you, or like the program, or whoever's like trying to like, hey, well, that person is like doing more in their life than they should. Let's get them back to where they used to be. Let's get the prisoner back in the cell, so to speak. And there's a lot of beings that can come into our space in the form of a human or entities, or like they can mess with our nightmares and dreams and everything else. A lot of things can happen. And I know it's like for myself, the things that used to trigger me, like I can handle it like a champ, like much better than I used to. And of course, I'm talking about hard stuff, like raising the standards hasn't happened yet. But the old stuff that used to trigger me is, it's fine. It's not a thing anymore. And we talk about like, how do we get through all those triggers? One is just ignoring it, not reacting to it. Others is like, okay, well, find a way to help yourself. It's not just fighting the enemies or fighting the entities and the groups and all the stuff, but also working on yourself. What is it within you that gets you triggered? Your own personal traumas, your own, issues that you have to deal with. There's a lot of shadow work, but it goes into psychological ways and whatever you experienced in childhood, and it just all builds up. It's life. But I've been working on myself a lot. Not too much. I'm pretty sure there's tons of people that do way more than I do, but I'm seeing changes in my life. And, like I'm not a perfect example, far from that, but I'm just seeing that my life is getting better slowly in lots of ways. And if there's anything that I could share or say, like, if you want sort of similar results, recently I'm finding that pushing yourself out of the comfort zone and doing something that you haven't thought of doing before, like even that, inner work, introspection, that like, oh God, there it is again. Like, like here she brings up that stuff. But whatever techniques you're using that sort of used to take a lot of time, if you just sit down and sort of force yourself to do it, you're not going to feel like it. It's not going to be fun. It's never fun to confront all your hardcore programming stuff and your traumas and things you've been through and bring up all those old emotions and all and triggering yourself. But finding ways to deal with it, bring it up to yourself, bring it up to light, and maybe getting some emotional release, or whatever it is for you. For me, it's been a lot of having a contact with people. With some of the things that happen in my life, I'm like, I don't want to be around people. Stay away from them. Don't even dare touch me. I was just like really, really like, gonna be like isolated munchkin. And now I'm like learning. I'm learning to say hello. I'm learning to get close to people, and I'm communicating with strangers outside. And now it's learning the physical contact. And like, yeah, like physical therapy once a week is one thing, but I'm like, let's do it more. Like I have to work through my traumas. Let's see if I can learn the whole thing myself. Like I have an idea right now. We'll see if I do it and all. But I'm just sort of like working on it a little bit at a time, and I'm seeing wins. It's not like it's all perfect and my world life is wonderful and there are no bad things happening. I'm just noticing that since my comfort zone is a little bit higher and I'm pushing myself out there more, of course I'm gonna hit the point where it's a bit too much. But the more I push myself up and again and again and again and try to raise it above where it used to be, the more the stuff that used to be really hardcore back then it's going to become sort of like easier, normal, or that again, haha. It's like those issues aren't as big anymore. So I'm saying like it's a challenge. It's like trying to trigger yourself and getting the immunity for it and like finding ways to beat the game, or at least for that moment. But if you've been doing things to sort of like stop yourself from self-sabotaging when it gets too much, or like fighting off whoever's messing with your life, like please share in the comments what are some of the things you're doing for yourself. How are you helping yourself grow and get better? And maybe some people will pick you up as an example. So that being said, thank you for watching my videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.